Hi, today I've been doing a pop-up studio at Purbeck Art Week. It's in Dorset and it's a 2-week art exhibition and collection of artists doing all sorts of things all across Purbeck, which is a part of Dorset. My pop-up studio today was abstract art, and this is one that I made today. This was in the tent. So they give you a tent, it's a gazebo, and I invited in the public and adults and children to come and see my techniques for creating abstract art and to have a go themselves. So it was aimed at beginners, people who want to know how to make abstract paintings and how to start. So, and I'm putting together a workshop and a lesson about it as well, which will be on my website, arteasy.co.uk. And so today it's abstract art, how to create a painting like this, colourful. This was my view from the gazebo of the cafe. And here's inside the gazebo. It was very windy. It's quite small, just a little 3-sided tent and 3 tables. So I started off with, I put some paper out and some instructions for in case I couldn't actually talk to them if it got too busy. And I divided some large pieces of paper into 4 with tape and then put a variety of different materials out. So they had charcoal, graphite, and some examples of some of my abstract paintings. And then I invited people to come in and paint with me. So P-A-W, Purbeck Art Weeks, open studio at Rollington Barn in Corfe Castle. And here's one that I took in that I was working on. And then I started inviting people in. At first it was so windy and rainy, it was unbelievably difficult. But so these are my instructions. It was that we're going to create 4, not 8 pictures. And I gave them some contrasting words, juxtaposed words, to kickstart their ideas. And then they were going to combine 2 of those words, like messy and neat, onto one of the sections, and then start to draw with the pencils and the pastels what they thought represented messy and what they thought represented neat, that sort of thing. And then they would gradually add colour with the pastels. So here's one that someone's done. So they've looked at... what's that one say? So it's something like regular and disjointed and patterned and wavy, that sort of thing. So these are prompts to start people off. And I think that one's vibrant. So the strokes are vibrant and contained. And then it was, we're going to use brush show. So we're going to put some colour on. And what I suggested was putting something that would cover a large amount of the space, like ink or brush show, something like that, where you just put it on and it's transparent so you can see the marks beneath. And this was my way of starting them off. So using brush show, which is pure pigment in powder form, and we apply it by dipping a dry brush into the pot, picking up some of the pigment and then tapping it over a wet page and watching it spread. So dip it in, then you tap it, and then you release the pigments onto the paper and it starts to spread into the liquid. And this was a way, 1, they really liked it, they liked the effects of it, and 2, it covered a large area quickly and still left the marks underneath. Very messy as well, which is great. The children loved this one. And it's just a really good way of getting people active, of getting people into their pictures, starting to create, because a lot of people find this first step the most difficult. And when you look at the painting next to it, you can see that all these marks at the beginning just disappear. They disappear under the painting, but it starts you off. And that's the thing that makes most people afraid for some reason. They're afraid of starting on that blank page. So by giving them specific instructions on something abstract and loose, it helps them to get into the mood for it. So just adding colour. None of this colour will be seen at the end, because abstract painting, I think, is all about layering, just layering one colour over another. And I'll work with a series of like hot colours. We've got hot colours here, or cold colours. And so that way you don't muddy them, because if you put hot colours and cold colours together, if you put the blues and the reds together, yes, you make a nice purple, but if you put the blues and the oranges and other colours together, then you end up with browns, mucky browns, but things can go mucky very quickly. So my suggestion was keep to one side of the colour wheel, so either the hot side or the cold side, and then do everything you can with that colour, with those colours combinations, and then once they're dry, you then move over to the other side and start adding the cold colours, or vice versa. So on this one we've got cold colours, so green and blue. On the other one we've got hot colours, orange and red and yellow, and that way it keeps that consistent vibrancy in the colours. And this was what I was suggesting to them, and they responded very well. So it looks like a mess. Abstract art always looks like a mess, but it's actually very difficult to do, because you haven't got any set rule. So there's taking a line for a walk, as Clee would say. You just take the line for a walk and you just let it go wherever it wants. And in that way, using a long brush helps as well, because you haven't got much control. And that's what you need at this beginning stage. So here's one that's almost finished, and there's one that's partway through. And we had a very fun day, but look what it does to the fingers.